This episode is brought to you by Loom by Atlassian. Are you feeling stuck at work? Get your team unstuck with Loom video messaging and move work forward. Use Loom to simultaneously record both your screen and yourself to share a quick update, provide feedback, train a colleague, and everything in between. Plus, add Loom AI to your meetings for instant written notes and recordings. Try Loom today at Loom.com. That's LOOM.com.
Morning, all. It's Friday, so let's see what went down in the news this week. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm with Nevada Current reporter Michael M.J. Lyle and my co-host David Figler, and we'll be discussing the latest plague of bed bugs to hit the Strip, feeling safe on RTC buses, and the UNLV School of Medicine's first graduating class. It's Friday, May 16th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. David, MJ, welcome. Welcome to Friday.
Howdy, hi.
Good morning.
We do have a hot ledge line, and David is relieving me of duties. He's going to take it this week. David, what is going on in the Nevada legislature?
First of all, are you watering down our hot ledge line shout?
I just don't want to make it so dramatic every time. We got to get to the
I love
news,
it when
you
it's
know?
dramatic.
But we only have a few left, so you have to make it dramatic every time.
Well, there will always be the hot headline. So
Again,
don't worry.
You're so soft and demure. It's a new Sarah. I don't know.
I've
All
never
right, well,
been called demure in my life.
All right. So what's going on in the legislature? Well, today is the day. This is when all those bills that have been bouncing around in one committee have hit the other committee and need to come out, or fate of death. They will never be heard from again until maybe 2 years from now. Who knows? So this is the deadline. This is a day we will be looking back at next week to see what made it through, what didn't make it through, what's still alive. Interestingly, there's just not a lot of serious, contention going on. I think everyone's just kind of waiting, the quiet before the storm. The governor has only signed 4 bills into law this session, which is one of the lowest of a long time. Certainly beat his record last year, which was only 6.
Ugh.
I will note, yes, a lot of things might die today, but are things truly dead? Because I always see some resurrection happening in weird
there's some
parts
zombie
of certain
actions,
bills.
exemptions.
Exemptions happening, weird parts of some bills stuck into other parts of other bills, so who knows?
Are there any bills that either of you are particularly concerned about getting vetoed and dying?
Well, all the housing bills always. I don't know what that showdown's all about. But, the Dems are trying again, and the governor has vowed to veto, but maybe they work something out. I'm curious to see what keeps moving forward, what's moving forward towards a showdown with that veto pen.
Aside from the housing bills and veto, I'm actually worried about some of the financing bills. There's legislation to give more rental assistance, Clark and Washoe County, and because of economic uncertainty, I'm really concerned if that goes through, because if that doesn't, there's not going to be a lot of rental assistance to do eviction diversion, and that's going to exacerbate homelessness. And so I don't know how they're going to weigh the funding that's needed for that against the economic uncertainty that we're facing now, and just what we can and cannot fund. So I'm really curious to see what happens with that bill.
Yeah, and with federal cuts, a lot is going to be on the backs of the state, and I don't know that our state is, properly prepared for what might be coming when they're talking about these bills and budgets. So yeah, I'm
Most
with
states,
MJ on
I think, don't have the state funding to do all the things that the federal government used to do for us.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we'll keep on it. We'll see what happens next time.
Hot ledge lines.
Hot ledge.
In the meantime, MJ, we've got bed bugs on the Strip. It happens. But this time there's a lawsuit involved. What's going on?
Yeah, sorry, folks. It's about to get a little bit squeamish here, because anytime I read about bed bugs, I know I feel itchy. But
Again,
yes,
I'm from New York. I know bed bugs.
Oh, intimately?
Knock on every piece of wood I can find. No. So I don't want to start.
Okay. Well, last year, an LA resident was staying at the Treasure Island when she noticed bedbug bites on her skin. And so she described this as a quote unquote massacre. Yeah. And so she was moved to a different room, and lo and behold, more bed bugs. She wasn't the only one. There were two other Luxor guests that also had the similar experience, and they are comprised of a lawsuit that was recently
Wow.
filed in late April.
So Treasure Island and Luxor, and this all happened last
Yes.
year, but the lawsuit came about last month.
Absolutely. And
Got it.
so in the second lawsuit about the two residents, one of the guests is saying that they actually had a reaction, had to go to the hospital. Part of the lawsuit was them having to pay for Ubers. They didn't specify what type of allergic reaction, what type of treatment, other than they had to receive narcotics. But in this instance, they said that the resort did refund them the resort fee. I'm curious, like, because I would assume that all your fees would be refunded. But I could be wrong.
Just
But
the resort
they have
fee.
all part of this lawsuit against these two hotels, and they didn't say what exactly they're seeking as far as damages. But I will say that part of the reporting too is last year the Southern Nevada Health District confirmed that bedbugs were at the Cosmopolitan Hotel, Resorts World, Bellagio, Hilton Grand. So, but those aren't the focus of any of these lawsuits. Just Treasure Island and Luxor, which didn't have any confirmation of bedbugs. And so I'm really curious to see what goes on with this. But yeah, some very unhappy guests and some very happy bedbugs.
So the Southern Nevada Health Department, some very happy bedbugs, didn't confirm there were bedbugs at either of those two hotels when they did their investigation. But at the same time, I assume there's hopefully proof in the terms of photographs and the refund. And
there is proof of photographs, and the lawsuit does say that the hotel themselves independently verified when they went to the guest's room, that there were in fact bedbugs. And then for the lady that was transferred to the second room and also had bedbugs in that room as well.
She might have brought them with her.
The hotel did, according to the lawsuit, verify that these were bed bugs. And the Southern Nevada Health District noted that even just because they didn't confirm that bed bugs doesn't mean there wasn't anything there, because oftentimes hotel guests don't report interactions with bed bugs. So,
well, getting bit by bed bugs so much that you end up going to the emergency room sounds awful. But lawyer David, Judge Figler, I'm curious to get your take on this. Is this a valid or a frivolous lawsuit in your opinion?
Well, it's not really fair for me to comment on a lawsuit. I haven't seen like the evidence or, what the defenses might be to it. Short of like a proof of negligence that the hotel or the resort did something wrong that allowed the bed bugs to thrive or should have caught it and didn't. There's a possibility that the bed bugs were transported in a way that the hotel wouldn't have any opportunity to mitigate before it happened. It's really hard to say. I do know that the Southern Nevada Health District has put out statements just generically that say bed bugs are not known to spread diseases to people. But, if this person did have bed bugs and they went to a hospital, I understand why they would pursue a claim. They feel that they were wronged. But, the law works in mysterious ways, just like God.
Oh, yeah, just like God, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the checks and balances in place are to check for and prevent the spread of pests, including bed bugs, but also including things like fleas, which can also happen in hotel rooms too.
Or testicle-biting scorpions, which, if our listeners will recall...
That's, of course, the first thing I thought of. Which, honestly, this sounds much worse. This sounds miserable to me.
But that was a story. Just so people, if they weren't around for a little while, there was some allegations that some scorpions had made it into a casino and crawled up some guy's pant leg, but I don't know what really happened.
He was in bed. And there are also scorpions do get confirmed in the hotels too. It is the desert, right? We get pests. A quick tips. We're all travelers nationally, internationally. Like I said, have never gotten bed bugs. I don't want to bring that upon myself, but my top tip is never put your suitcase on the bed, because bed bugs want to be in fabricy places. Don't put it on any fabric furniture. The couch, a chair, it goes on the luggage rack, it goes on a desk, it goes on a bureau. It does not touch fabric. That's the best way to prevent taking them along with you and taking them home. Other tips?
And none of us lay out on bedspreads anymore, right? We pull the bedspread down to get to the sheets. We're not rolling our naked bodies around on the comforters.
But that doesn't matter. They're not in the bedspread.
I refuse to answer that question, prosecutor.
I mean, no, we pull down the bedspread, but like they're going to be in like the corners of the mattress. So if you really want to check for bed bugs, you tip up the corner, usually near the headboard, and you pull back the mattress pad and you check to see if there's little lentil-looking creatures in there.
Got it.
Las Vegas is such a hub for travel, and that's how these things happen. Like, bed bugs don't equal dirty, it equals travel. Are there other perils of having so many people come into our city from across the country and across the world?
I think about our STI, actually, infections. And when I've talked to health providers in the community, because everyone talks about like, oh, there's such a large amount of STIs in the Las Vegas community.
We had a syphilis
and some
outbreak.
of them speculate it's actually kind of imported and not exported. Like people come here and kind of lose their mind and do whatever they want. And so they bring some of the STIs. And so I think
people who are maybe not as well practiced in, wilding out.
And protection.
Let's say responsibly wilding out. Yeah,
exactly. And so,
lest we forget the COVID outbreaks that were very much traced to some of our conventions here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. So just the spread of diseases. Well, stay safe out there, everybody. Wear a mask, wear a condom, pull back the bedspread.
Scuba gear. Everyone's scuba gear for everything.
Scuba gear.
Hi, I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast. We've all set health goals: lose weight, exercise more, eat better. But without a plan, those goals often fade. That may have happened to you. It has definitely happened to me. And that's where Prolon comes in. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet gives you a science-backed, structured approach to stay on track and see real results. And now Prolon is upping their game with the new next-gen 5-day program, delivering the same science-backed benefits in a cleaner, more convenient, and more flavorful format. Prolon is a plant-based nutrition program featuring soups, snacks, and beverages designed to nourish the body while keeping it in a fasting state, triggering cellular rejuvenation and renewal. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed over decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top U.S. medical centers, Prolon has been shown to support biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. I've been doing the 5-day program, and I feel so much better. I really enjoy the tasty energy bars, the snacks and soups, and the fact that I can enjoy meals, even though the calorie count is super low. The flavors and textures are excellent. An olive oil snack here, broccoli and quinoa soup there, hibiscus tea, a yummy nut bar. It's got the benefits of a 5-day fast, but doesn't have the challenge of doing it with pure liquids. It's a system reset. And also, I know this sounds funny, but it's not. The packaging and directions are fantastic, clear, and well-organized and thoughtful. For a limited time, you can be first in line to experience the new Next Gen at special savings. Prolon is offering CityCast listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just visit prolonlife.com/city. That's PROLONLIFE.com/city to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/city. This episode of CityCast is sponsored by Babbel. Learning a new language opens the door to new friends, new cultures, maybe even a whole new life. So why not start the journey today with Babbel? You can start speaking a new language with confidence thanks to Babbel's conversation-based technique. It quickly teaches you useful words and phrases about the things you actually talk about in the real world. There are more than a dozen languages available for you to learn at your own pace, with material tailored to your individual proficiency level, interests, and time availability. I'm David Plotz, CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel and brushing up a teeny bit on my French. But there's also Turkish, Swedish, Dutch, German, many more languages. Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable and accessible. It's like having a private tutor in your pocket. I particularly love Babbel's guided conversations, which let me practice real-world conversations. What to say at the doctor's office, how to leave a party, using speech recognition to make sure I'm getting the pronunciation right. Babbel's mobile app and website have real-time feedback, progress trackers, and clear visualizations that are helping me improve my Spanish in only 10 minutes a day. So get talking with Babbel. I want you to learn another language, so I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
All right. So, David, there's been an increase in security on RTC buses and transit centers. What does RTC stand for?
The Regional Transportation Commission.
Thank you. I couldn't figure out anything that made sense. All right. I actually had no idea that that's what our public transit authority is. Anyway, on RTC buses and transit centers, we've got more security now. I'm kind of curious because I didn't really know that safety was an issue. Can you tell me more, David?
Well, I think it's more perception and reality because assaults on passengers and operators have been decreasing actually significantly from 199 incidences in 2023 down to 125 in 2024. Same thing with passenger on passenger assaults. They're dropping year over year, and passenger on operator assaults. So all the categories of like violence that occurs on public transit has been dropping, and yet the RTC has been increasing the security presence and the technology. They've increased the number of security officers, and this is all coming from reporting from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, from 247 to 300 officers.
So wait, they just recently made these increases, although the numbers of assaults have been dropping for years.
Yeah, and they've also instituted a lot of technology. We have real-time incident reporting, there's tracking, there's live look-ins from Metro to see what's happening on the buses. They've got weapon detect technology in the transit centers. And so, this, I think, is all in reaction to the perception that it's not safe. And look, this is an issue that's across the country with public transit. You've got a lot of people who are unhoused, who are utilizing public transit for reasons other than getting from point A to point B. There's a crisis of mental health. There's just a lot of chaos sometimes on the buses. And I think a lot of people have been saying, Las Vegas doesn't have a transit system, which is not true, but that's something that you hear a lot of people say, or that it's not safe or clean, which a lot of people say too, which I, from personal experience, don't find to be particularly true either.
I have found that a certain class of people, usually people who don't take public transportation in cities that have smaller public transportation systems, they're the ones that are usually saying oh, it's dirty, oh, it's not safe, when that's not the actual experience at all. I've had that experience in multiple cities.
But, we do have these multiple headlines that come out over the year. I mean, it's not zero. And so when you see something, usually it's pretty stark. And if there's video attached, seeing somebody throw someone out of a bus or stab someone on a bus, I mean, that's very scary. But, there becomes sort of a panic that might not be commensurate with, how many trips and how many miles that are actually taken. One last point is that, the RTC over the years has lobbied for different legislation to maybe even have a private police force. I don't think that's moving forward, but there is a bill right now, which we'll find out if it made it out of second committee today, AB 361, which is even further security for the drivers, mandating that they be in a protective bubble, basically, and increasing the penalties for attacking or hurting or assaulting a bus driver.
Going back to the headlines that we see every year that you were mentioning, David, because there are headlines of really dramatic events and really scary events. But usually when I see some of those stories, they also, at some point in the story, mention just the number of unhoused people that ride the bus, as though they're trying to mentally connect those horrific events that happen with the fact that unhoused folks utilize the bus. And they're utilizing it because during the summer, there are not enough places for them to escape the heat. There are actually not enough places in general for them to be, as we restrict their movement further in the city, so they do come in the bus. My question also with this, and I'm just going off the reporting, so I haven't looked into them myself, is the RTC's currently facing projected budget shortfalls in the next couple years. They're trying to get funding to secure the amount of money they have to be in the black, because by 2027 or 2028, they're projected to be in the red. So how does focusing on increasing dollars towards security, how does that affect the fact that just providing transit we're going to be facing a shortfall at some point. And like, how are we talking about prioritization around this? But again, the RTC and unhoused folks using buses comes back to the system-wide deficits that we just don't have enough options and resources and services to help the unhoused population. So they have to go somewhere. And so I think that perception about them being on the buses making it unsafer is all playing into this factor of, hey, we should throw police at this problem.
So that's a great point, MJ. And yeah, just for the record, not having a house doesn't make you a criminal. And so, yeah, great point that instead of helping the unhoused, we're sort of targeting them. So is there a point to an increasingly policed transit system? Is that something we want? What are the positives and negatives of that?
Well, to MJ's point, most transit systems operate in the red around this country. Las Vegas has been somewhat of an outlier just because we had that really lucrative Las Vegas strip route had been augmenting it for a really long time. And one other thing I want to point out is like the buses provide like a lot of different things besides transport. I mean, there's free Wi-Fi on there as well. There's a lot of reasons why people would want to utilize the bus, but they want to be safe. I guess safety, when they do their customer surveys and when they do community surveys, always comes up to the top, whether it is justified and borne out by the statistics or not. And I think that has to be kind of the first thing. But no, just like with schools, we don't want everything to be essentially militarized, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to have to be around guys holding guns or God forbid, witness an incident where an armed security officer, unloads a weapon because someone was acting the fool. And
so if someone doesn't feel safe despite statistics telling them that they are safe, how do we make people feel safe without militarizing our transit system?
Well, I mean, that's a challenge, right? And I think that's what the RTC is just grappling with and feeling that this is kind of the way to do that.
And again, I'm curious what other solutions they have looked at to address public safety, because public safety is the question that you're trying to find a solution. But not every public safety crisis needs to have a law enforcement solution, but that is such the easy route for so many cities. And I am curious to learn, and maybe I should ask this myself, of what other mechanisms for public safety they have looked at to try to appease guests and actually make them feel safer that are alternatives to law enforcement and to a higher security presence.
I certainly am a proponent, like so many people are, of public transit. And I also am guilty, as so many people who are proponents of public transit, of not using it very much. I think everyone who is in legislative office at any level should be required to take some bus trips. And I think that once it kind of pervades the decision makers and some of the movers and shakers, maybe too, I think that the RTC should encourage tours, if you will, like literally getting people used, wealthy people who don't need transit per se, to start getting used to it, or at least seeing what the experience is firsthand as opposed to these secondhand reports. I think that'd be a really interesting project. I remember the great local-based writer Jeff Carter from the Las Vegas Weekly did a blog of just journeying around on the public buses, and it was amazing, and it was so insightful and thoughtful. And I was like, I hope every legislator reads this, because there's some problems that need to be solved, and there's some answers in just experiencing the transit.
Listen, love a bus, love a train. You know what I really want instead of an increased police presence? I want a elevated train that goes from Water Street to the Strip to Fremont Street.
You want amenities. You want a cocktail car on your bus. I know you, Sarah Lohman.
I want that too, Sarah.
Thank you, because it's a $50 or $60 round trip Uber or Lyft if I'm going to go downtown and stay out late and drink or whatever. So, just build me a train.
This episode is brought to you by Buick. When you have 4 new tires, every drive feels fresh. Right now, buy 3 select tires and get 1 for just $1 during the Buick Certified Service Fresh Start Tire Event. Visit Buick.com/service offers or see dealer for full details. At participating U.S. GM dealers only. Highest or equal value tire will be $1. Offer ends 5/31/2025. Not available with other offers.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit temptationstreats.com to learn more.
So we're going to end on some really exciting news. So the first class to graduate from UNLV's Kerkorian School of Medicine are now finishing up their residencies 3 years later and are becoming doctors. And some of these students, now doctors, are staying in the Las Vegas area. This is big yay.
Please say we need more of you.
Please stay. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it is super exciting. And that is, I don't know if it's one of the reasons UNLV started this program, but it's certainly one of the methods.
It is.
It is it? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
it's
very smart.
one of the main reasons, yeah.
I mean, bringing people out of undergraduate programs who want to continue their education here to Las Vegas is a really key way to training doctors and then keeping them around. We're short about 1,500 primary care doctors. That's below the national average. That's what would bring us up to the average. So we're not even we could burst with more doctors, I think. Some of the reasons...
I think we're next to last in the country on that.
Just like normal, probably ahead of Mississippi, but I don't have the statistics in front of me.
Right.
Sorry, as always, Mississippi. So, it's really exciting. Just the idea of them being here and getting a sense of Las Vegas, makes it more attractive to stay. One of the things that's going on is that we have a lack of residency spots here, which are federally funded. So we're probably not getting more funding thrown that direction. Our academic center isn't as large. We don't have as many resources, but the program is growing. UNLV's medical school has committed to hiring an additional 70 staff people, which will increase the class size from 60 to 80 students. It's funny. This is personal to me, too, because I actually go to the UNLV Medical Center for all my primary care physician needs. And since I've been here over 3 years now, my doctor has cycled out and is now a doctor. So shout out to Sabrina Colombini, who also decided to stay local. So it's kind of exciting to be a part of that system. And I've been super happy with both the facility and the quality of the treatment that I get from the resident doctors too. So
thank you for waiving your HIPAA, and I appreciate that. And shout out to that doctor. Probably part of the reason
She's not my doctor anymore.
The part of the reason that your former doctor wanted to stay in Las Vegas is because of great great patients that she met.
I hope so. She's a lovely, lovely woman. So we need to entice more doctors to come to Las Vegas.
Yes.
What can we do to both bring and keep more doctors in town? Wrong answers only.
I'm surprised Little Darlings hasn't had some type of promo for doctors
for the residents
and stuff. But
up on the billboard.
But honestly, how about a medical professional or doctor's night at a lot of these different hotels and shows, and Magic Mike, doctor's night? Come on, that's the least they can do.
Yeah, 100%. Super comp. They
Super
get
comps.
Comp for 2 at any show that they want. They just walk in like they're in Goodfellas.
Comps. Yeah. I think
heroes.
also
There are heroes.
In addition to comps, they get to board first with the active military. Any active local Las Vegas doctors get to board the plane first at the Las Vegas International Airport. What else?
I think we should give them our membership mugs, even if they don't become members, so they should, because they want to acclimate to the community. Mm-hmm.
Any doctor that stays in town gets a Hey Las Vegas and CityCast Las Vegas mug, too. They get to use the HOV lane.
Yeah, 24/7.
In the spaghetti bowl. Yeah, 24/7. Literally any other sort of Vegas things we can offer you, we will give you. We would love more qualified professionals within our city. Yes, free parking. Yes, everywhere, including at grocery stores and the grocery pickup and delivery spot, which really irritates me when people who aren't getting their groceries picked up park there.
It makes sense. You give shots, you get spots.
No.
Wow, there you go.
Shots,
that's the campaign.
You get shots. Free shots
you get
at
shots.
every bar.
Shots for shots.
So, David, before we wrap up today, you did an episode earlier this week on Representative Amadei's amendment to a bill about public land sales here in Nevada. But this is a federal bill. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back, listen to the episode. And we actually got a response from Amadei's team in response to that episode, David?
Representative Mark Amadei from up north introduced an amendment to a bill which would allow just large swaths of public land, including down here in Clark County, to be sold off. But instead of the proceeds going back to Nevada, as has been the law, this would just go to the federal government. Obviously, very controversial. We had Christy Watson, the executive director of the Nevada Conservation League, on. There were some serious allegations levied at how this was bad for Nevada, and we reached out to Representative Amadei's office to respond to the very specific criticisms. Instead, he just sent us a press release, an old one at that didn't answer any of the questions, just hit the talking points of why he thinks it's good for Nevada without answering the criticisms. So that's kind of where that's in. We gave him a chance to respond or come on, and we got an old press release instead.
Okay. Well, Representative Amadei, we invite you on the show. We would love to talk more about this topic. Yeah, the specifics and get some real answers here. I'm sure our listeners would too. And David, I'm not done with you yet, because on May 22nd, you were doing a live podcast recording at the Rita Deenan Abbey Art Museum. It's going to be called The Lost Art of Las Vegas with Heather Harmon. Tell me more.
Yeah, Heather Harmon, who is the director of the Las Vegas Art Museum, the one that is moving forward right now, is going to be talking to us about all the art that has shown up in Las Vegas, maybe disappeared in Las Vegas. Should be a really fun time. And that art museum, the Rita Deenan Abbey Art Museum, is just really a wonderful space. It's been in the making for a long time. It's now open to the public, and if people want to come, it's free. They just need to follow the link in the show notes to RSVP. But we'd love to see everybody from CityCast out there as we record a live show.
So that's Thursday, May 22nd, 6 p.m. Link to registration is in the show notes. But again, it's free. You just got to save your spot. All right, MJ, David, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Always a good time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Our executive producer, Sonia Cho Swanson. Our producers this week were Layla Muhammad and Selena Say Reynolds. Our newsletter editors, Rob Katzel-Reese, and our hosts are David Figler and Sarah Lohman. That's me. Music is by OG Moose, Epidemic Sound, and All the Kimonos, as well as Hip Color and Abbas Premji from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. We record this show on the traditional homelands of the Nawubi, the Southern Paiute people. And if you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Take care. Show your medical license, get a free shot. That's it.
But not while you're on duty.
No.
You know, we don't need a Grey's Anatomy thing, or I don't know. I just picked a random show.
Listen, I'm not here to police them. I'm not here to start a police
they don't
state.
drink on duty. They have sex on duty. Very different.
Oh, well, we'd offer that as well.
We could offer that as well.
Allegedly. MJ, are you getting a suit? What's happening?
Grey's Anatomy. It's Grey's Anatomy. That's what they do in Grey's Anatomy.